Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to Court Farms Country Park and episode 51 of the Let's Play series. I hope you're all doing very well and having a lovely day. So, we are now in the month of November, next month on from previous episode, as I tend to usually do, and we're just topping up the cows with a bit of grub for them. We've kitted out their pen with a bit more bedding, a bit more straw. So now they're all good, and all the other animals are pretty much hunky-dory. The chickens are fed, the sheep are doing fine. They don't seem to be going through their food as quickly as I'd expected them to. I think I've touched base on this a couple of times in the past, haven't I? But they're doing fine for all intents and purposes. So that's all good. Low maintenance animals, we're still earning from them. They're still producing our wool. We've got a chunk of pallets of clothes over at the tailors, and we need to get these bits of wool over to the wool mill, obviously to keep that process running. But we're not going to do that right away. We are going today, I think this episode is primarily going to be focusing on grass work. We have this field here has been ready to harvest for what feels like forever. Initially, my thoughts and plans for this have been get it turned into hay to top up our storage of hay, as it were. But I think for the sake of finances, just running around the corner here to check on what we've got. We've got, what have we got there? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27. So we've got 30 bales of hay there. We're going to be fine for that until the next cut of grass, because and we've got plenty of straw, obviously. With me getting into a substantial amount of debt again in the last episode, as we know, to treat myself to 2 wonderful pieces of machinery, our 2 new tractors, which I'm very keen to get working in. I have actually been very much looking forward to starting this episode with starting afresh, as it were, with some nice shiny pair of offices. But yeah, this grass field and the grass field that we created a few episodes ago over at the relatively newly created sheep wool empire over there, both those fields are ready to go. So what I'm going to do is mow, row, bale and wrap, turn into silage, obviously for the purposes of selling and making a bit of money. Now obviously we've got to wait for the silage to ferment, of course, so it's not going to be an immediate chunk of money into the bank, but once it's done, it's done, and it's just a case of waiting for a bit of time to get done. So what I think I might do with that is we'll get these we'll get the fields mowed and rowed and baled, and I may well leave the bales in the field just for a wee while to allow them to ferment, just to save me bringing them back into to store away anywhere, because yeah, it's a bit unnecessary really. I can just leave them in the field while the grass grows again. So that's that. Yeah, so I think, as I say, today we're, as a viewer, I think you may well be inundated with quite a bit of grass work. But there is something I've been meaning to correct since my last episode. As always, a small mistake on my part. It's always me making a mistake, isn't it? But I commented in the last episode about the Harvester, the Dominator, this beautiful mod by Mr. Mark Thor, and how I said it didn't work in multiplayer. Well, it does work in multiplayer, of course it does. The problem was the big fleshy thing sitting between this chair and the keyboard. Me. What it is, when I upgraded it, obviously increased its capacity and added in the extra bits and bobs into the cab, this unit down here, which I wrongfully assumed was something that Mr. Thor had put into the mod, which technically he has, but what it is, this is the real dashboard live mod working. Now, I've had the real dashboard mod installed on my computer in the game for quite a while, but what it is I just didn't appreciate that I hadn't actually been using any mods that properly supported it, and it was only because in my Tahitian save, one of the case tractors that I have on there, that I've been one of the ones that I was potentially going to buy, one of the Steiger machines. When I jumped in the cab and I kitted that out with all the screens and all the kit, it had that screen in it, and it just made me realise, I was like, oh, that's not specific to this tractor, this combine, sorry, it's the real dashboard mod. And so when I commented in my last Court Farms video that this Dominator didn't work in multiplayer, because myself and Mrs. Sim Gamer have this combine over on our multiplayer save as well. Because I updated the mod, I then had to update the mod on the multiplayer server as well. And when I copied it over, it said this mod is missing some dependencies, and I didn't know what that meant, and I just assumed that there was a problem with the mod and its capacity to work on multiplayer. It turns out that dependency was the real dashboard mod, so as soon as I transferred the real dashboard mod onto our server as well, it worked. So long and short of it is, apologies if you are watching, Mr. Thor. Of course your mod works perfectly on multiplayer. The problem was me. So yeah, got that bit cleared up, because I must admit I was feeling a little bit guilty since the last episode, thinking, goodness me, I've gone public on a video and said that one of Mark Thor's mods didn't work correctly in a particular scenario, but of course it does. They always do. They're wonderful mods. Extremely talented mod maker he is, I must admit. So, right, what are we doing then? So we've got this lot fed and watered and strawed, so we're going to park up our feeder. I think we're all empty of feed. In fact, let's just have a quick check at their food level. Let's just bring up the heads-up display. Where are we at for food? Almost full, 118,722 litres out of their potential 120,000, so that's not been too bad. It's been a few feed mixes getting prepared this morning. That was the last one. I am extremely happy with the new shovel mod that I installed and had stuck on the front of the telehandler. It does make the whole process of mucking out, feeding the cattle, so much easier. As I said, I can muck the cows out in one fell scoop, quite literally. And because of its capacity of 11,500 litres, one bucket load of silage into the feed mixer is exactly what I need. So it's absolutely brilliant. I'm really glad I got that working on here. So yeah, right. So as I say, today is all about grass work. We have I've taken on a contract in field 107, which is the relatively large field behind the bakery down the main road there. That is it's a silage bale contract, so we're going to get working in that one. But I think first and foremost, I'm going to get my two fields sorted. I think I'm very much looking forward to jumping in the John Deere as well. So I'm going to hook the John Deere up to the mower and the rower. The Massey will follow with the baler. And as I say, I'm not going to pick the bales out the field just yet. I'm just going to get it mowed and rowed and baled up, get the silage wrapped up and fermenting in both fields, and then we'll get working in the contracted field. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully I get to stick to it. So what do I need to do first? We need this is going to get hooked up to the baler, as I say, because the John Deere is going to be responsible for the rowing and the mowing, so we shall hook this wee beauty up to the baler. And there we go. Connect up cables and PTO, and for now we can just shut you off, turn your lights off. Let's go grab our big green shiny machine, which has yet to be used apart from driven here. But yeah, been very much looking forward to getting this thing running, both of them. There we go. Right, so give me a few moments to get everything set up. I'm going to, obviously, you know me, you should know things by now. Most of this stuff is going to get put into a variety of cinematics. Get that picked up, folded up. We'll get this out of the workshop, get everything connected up. And I think we're going to make our way over to the bigger field over in at the wool mill first to get that done. We'll come back here and we'll get that field done over there. I think I might. I'm going to get everything hooked up and then just wait for a little bit of time, because it's still a little bit dark down here on Court Farm. So we've time to progress a little bit, because there's no point filming a cinematic in the dark, as that won't come out very well. I think it's about 8:30 in the morning-ish. What time are we on? 8:45. So yeah, we'll give it half an hour or so, 45 minutes. There we go. Get a bit more daylight around us. There we go. So, I'll see you over there ASAP. Right, that's us down here, where we need to be. Pretty sure this is all the equipment I need for now. Massey and the baler, John Deere with the mower and the rower. But I just thought I'd give you a very quick once-over. As you can see, we've got 6 pallets of clothes here, sat ready and waiting. And as I said, I know I have I've essentially thrown a bit of money away over the last few episodes just selling these for the sake of selling them and getting some money back into the bank. I'm going to try my very best just to bite my lip and not do that. Obviously, with me having the spending sprees that I have done over the last few episodes, I felt it's been a bit of a necessity just to get something back into the bank. But I mean, it's still, as I say, don't get me wrong, it would still be a good chunk of money even if I sold them now. But I think the difference is at the minute we're in November. The top selling time for clothes is April. So it's a case of being patient for several months, isn't it? But so hence why I'm doing what I'm doing here. We're going to get this area of grass mowed and the little one back over at the farm, obviously. These guys are doing all right. Again, low maintenance because of the chunk of grass that we got out of this original field when I mowed it, when I created it. And as some of you might have watched when I did that live stream, I had that massive stack of loose grass, didn't I? But found that for some reason picking it up with the pickup trailer and trying to tip it into here didn't work, so I just manually got rid of that, as it were, and created the same numerical amount of bales. So and because this barn takes from the bale, I can essentially just pop a bale down here. As you can see, if I bring up the heads-up display, this is currently at 3,351 litres of what started out life as, I think, about 11,000 litres, I think, per bale. I might be wrong, or is that the capacity of the sheep, isn't it? 6,500. Yeah, so I can just park a bale there, and it just keeps their trough topped up. So I know there's not a huge amount of realism in that. I appreciate that, but it just allows me to have these guys here as I say, low maintenance. They producing a little bit of wool. What we got there, 355 litres of. So, yep, slowly but surely they're producing away. Anyway, field work, grass work, let's get to it. So, as I say, I'm going to pop this job into a cinematic with the mowing, rowing and baling. And in my lovely new John Deere and Massey. And I shall see you all when the job's done. ASAP. Right, there we go. Not bad at all for a yield, if I must say. 26 bales we've just got from that. It does actually look more than 26 bales, I must admit, because in my mind as I was finishing off I was thinking, have we got more than 38 bales, which is what was in my memory from what used to be our big grass field. But no, according to the in-game menu today in this session, we have produced 26 bales. But that's still brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So we're going to leave these in here sitting away fermenting for now, because we can. I don't need to worry too much about putting them anywhere. They're fine as they are where they are. So yeah, first job of the day, well done, if I don't say so myself. So now we're going to go and crack on and do the same thing again back over at home farm in the little grass field we've got behind the workshop, and then we are going to get on with the actual paying work, the contract. So get our equipment back home. We'll go crack on with that. It has just occurred to me also, whilst throwing that cinematic together, that I need to get some number plates made up at the dealership, don't I? Because a lot of our equipment now, this baler being one of them, has the old number plate from the Fendt. So, and I know, don't get me wrong, I know it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever, and it's just a game, but it's a little bit of detail that any of you from the UK will know. If you are driving around in a vehicle, you can see there, P90 VAR, and we've got the regi number on the Massey is MA55SEY. Driving around in the UK with not matching number plates on your trailer, you can get a very firm slap on the wrist by Mr. Officer. So for the sake of that little bit of detail, we'll get that sorted. But I need to run around and figure out which of the machinery needs the number plates changing, because some stuff doesn't have it on. Obviously the baler's got it on there. I'm not too sure if the windrower doesn't have a plate on, but obviously the trailers do. I think what else does? Yeah, the trailers will have the slurry tank and the manure tank. I've actually got them with their own little custom number plate on, so for the sake of risking getting a digital make-believe non-existent slap on the wrist, I'm going to leave them as they are. But yeah, there's a couple more things that I need to alter anyway, so just that little bit of detail that I like to stick to. Right, here we are, back at our little grass field here. So as you can see, we've got the John Deere working away. Let's just turn this off for now. Yeah, John Deere's over there. Little worker in there getting that job sorted, because it doesn't take too long. It's only small, so I'm not going to try and cram it into another cinematic or anything, having already just done a grasswork cinematic for now anyway. But one thing I have just done off camera, just because I remembered I was going to look at this when I said it in the last episode, was after we had cultivated under our oilseed radish and recognised that it obviously does give us a level of fertilisation in the field. Admittedly, it's not particularly high, but it's something nonetheless, so it does save a small amount of money on paying for actual fertiliser. What I have just done is very quickly connected up the slurry tanker to the Massey, and I just took it over to the far end of the field there and just started putting a tiny little bit of slurry down in a patch. Now, if I jump into the precision farming menu here, there you can see that little yellow area there is where I started putting down the slurry. So that to me gives us what looks to be around about the 100. It's certainly more of a yellow than 80, but it's not quite as much of a darker yellow as that 120. So, but I think I suppose I can solve this problem by going and look at it myself, can't I? So at the minute you might not be able to see the numerical value, sorry, because it might be behind my my YouTube logo there in the bottom corner, but we're currently here at about 40 kilograms, 35 per hectare in the nitrogen. But if we stand here, there we go, yeah, 110. 105, 90, 110. Right, okay. So, what that does mean is, essentially, that for any of you who are interested, using the oilseed radish as a catch crop and then using slurry and potentially manure. I haven't tested it with manure, but I obviously, because I got rid of most of my manure in the last episode, I don't actually have a huge amount of that left, but that was the whole purpose, to get a bit of money in the bank account and reduce the ridiculous pile of manure that was looking in our bunker. But that's what the slurry's for, because we now have Home Farm's slurry tank now has a vast capacity of about 500,000 litres. I should have more than enough, I hope, touch wood, to be able to do all three of these fields. So now knowing that before spending a penny on any manufactured fertilizer, using a catch crop, oilseed radish, and using slurry, you can bring your level of fertilization of your soil up to at least 100 to 110 kilograms a hectare, which is pretty decent. So I think that's what we're going to do as well today. Now, the contract that we have in field 107, that obviously, because I have the better contracts mod, and I think this works in base game like this anyway, but we've got till the end of the month to complete that contract, and with me having 2 day months on this series, we do have the end of the day, to the end of today and tomorrow to complete it, but it's only 11 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, what I think I will do for a little bit of variety in today's episode, we will get this field all done and dusted. Obviously, as you can see, I'm doing that kind of off camera. And then what we'll do, we are going to potentially hook up the. Well, I can't decide whether I'll use the Massey or the John Deere. It's just nice to know that I've got 2 tractors to choose from who are capable of doing that job. Yeah, but either way, they're earning their keep. These 2 things are so far today. Let's get them a bit mucky, shall we? So yeah, we'll hook up the slurry tank, and we shall increase the natural level of fertilisation in our 3 empty fields, ready for the corn, sunflowers and soybeans in a couple of months' time. I think that'll be a job well done, don't you? Anyway, right, I'll pick you all back up in a little while's time when we've got a few more bales sat fermenting in this field. We'll potentially get some slurry flung down on the soil. There we go, all done. And we got 20 bales off this field. Now, for some reason, in my mind, I seem to recall always getting. I've got the number 18 rolling around in my mind, as if 18 was the number of bales we used to always get from this field. Whether that was hay bales, I'm not too sure, and obviously I appreciate the bales have a different amount in them, but for silage, we've got 20, so that's all good. So, while that's been doing that, I have just been running around the yard with my little tool bag thing, just amending all the number plates on the bits of machinery, just satisfying my urge for finicky bits of detail. And the only one left to do now is the baler here, which I will get that done myself at some point very soon. And I did decide, not that it will bother anyone whatsoever, but I did decide to change the number plates on the slurry tanker and the manure spreader. The slurry tanker I've changed to the registration plate of the John Deere, because that's the bigger of the 2 tractors and is the one that is most likely going to be running the slurry tanker at all times. And the manure spreader, this thing can cope with that, so put this number plate on it. As I say, not that any of you will give any care whatsoever to that. It's just me and my little things. But anyway, as you can see, we have the John Deere there hooked up to the slurry tanker, because that's what we're going to get on with next. We are going to apply a nice natural level of fertilisation, increasing even more so the 3 fields that we drilled and cultivated under with the oilseed radish. So yeah, that's the next job. So we're going to park this away neatly in the shed for now, because the next couple of hours are going to be entirely spent in green machinery. So we'll park it away. I must admit though, there's a night for me anyway, with making the changes that I've made in the last few episodes. Just having these 2 tractors and having one place to put them, this shed, just feels better. It feels more real, dare I say realistic. It feels, I don't know, natural's the wrong word, I know that, but just having 2 tractors on our relatively busy farm just seems better than having 4 doing all sorts of things, as I say. So anyway, right, we're going to commence with the big field, field 57 in the distance there. So we shall pull up to the slurry pit here and just fill up very quickly. Now before I do that, let me just check. I'm almost certain we've got about 300,000 litres of the stuff. Slurry, 381,587 litres, so almost 400,000 litres. There should be enough. Now I think I can get a ballpark figure. So we're going to do fields 57, 58 and 59. So if I go into our field calculator here, 57, 58 and 59, we can then have a look at slurry. So 65,753 litres of slurry apparently goes into field 57, 58 and 59. So 60, 70, 80, 90, 105, 9, 116,000. So about 117,000 litres of slurry should go down into these 3 fields. Now, how accurate this field calculator thing is, I don't know. I don't know if this just works off base game stuff or doesn't actually take into account precision farming. But just for the sake of our own records and maybe a little bit of interesting numbers, and because I know a lot of you do like numbers, I need to get better at understanding the real numbers. So, give or take a bit, 117,000. In fact, I'll add this all up to be absolutely accurate in a few minutes' time. 117,000 there. So I'll take into account. In fact, let's just do this right away here. 381,587. 381,587. In fact, forgive me, to be numerically correct, let's fill this up now. So let's start again. So in this tank we have 18,000 litres. Now in the slurry pit we have 369,248. 369,248. So now I've got an exact numerical value of what we've started with. I will add up those numbers from the field calculator and then we'll come back at the end and see exactly how much slurry we have left in the tank, plus what anything we might have left in this thing, and we'll be able to tell exactly if that field calculator is even remotely accurate. Put yourself out of trouble somehow, haven't I? Right. So we shall. I'm going to pop this whole 3-field slurry spreading into cinematic again. A nice slurry spreading cinematic. There we go. And I shall see you all in a wee while's time. Right, job done. Very happy with the results. I really am. So, firstly, if we jump into the map PDA, into the precision farming menu, we now have in the 3 fields that we've just been working in. As you might be able to remember, they were all shades of red and orange, but now, I mean, in places we've even got bits of green. So that's really quite pleasing, I should say, I suppose. Yeah, and if we bring up the heads-up display there, again, forgive my logo being over the numbers, but we now have nitrogen values, all naturally done from where we are here, 110, 95, 90, 105, 110. So yeah, the field is now, all 3 fields have now got a much higher level of natural nitrogen that has come, obviously, as you know, from the oilseed radish and from our slurry. So now when we do get the crops into the ground here, there will be, if any, very little manufactured fertilizer that we'll need to put in here. Now, I know soybeans don't need any, I think, if I'm right in saying. We won't need to alter any. I think if we were to drill soybeans into here, the nitrogen values would, I think, come back as perfect. I can't quite remember what the score is for corn and sunflowers, but either way, even if we need to top them up, we'll need to top them up with a lot less than what we would have done had we not done this work. So I'm really quite happy with that. Now, regarding the amounts that we have left, I did do a few basic sums at the very beginning. So we started out, when it comes to slurry, sorry, when we started out, including what was in the 18,000 litre tank, we had 387,248 litres of slurry all in. We've now finished with 237,229. So all in all, we have used 150,019 litres. Now, the field calculator mod, based on the numbers that it has here, 57, 58 and 59, they all add up to 116,930 litres and a little bit. So technically, they're not quite correct. Now, I can't say where that discrepancy lies. I've got a funny feeling it's to do, this is based on base game stuff without precision farming. With the precision farming, that's where that discrepancy lies, potentially. That's my wild stab in the dark as to why those numbers are slightly different. But it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not too far out. We're talking about 34 litres, essentially. 34,000 litres, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, still. Regardless, it's the job's done, and I'm very happy with the results. Now, forgive me, I know I did say at the beginning of this episode that this entire episode would essentially be a plethora of work. We still do have the field 107 bale contract to get done. That, I think, now is going to be that's going to be done at the beginning of the next episode, just because of my lack of ability to plan and my sporadic thoughts and stuff like that, having just decided to have a go at this slurry thing. That's where we are now. So, but either way, I do hope you have all enjoyed the episode and found it a little bit of fun and interesting. I'm going to call it here for today's episode. I think we are a little bit north of half an hour, 35-40 minutes now. So, yeah, I think I'm going to knock it in the head for today. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the video. I really do hope you have enjoyed it and found it even remotely fun and interesting. If you're new to my channel, you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the channel, giving the video a like if you can. And as always, there is a host of links in the video description below with my Giants partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for a DLC, a season pass, an add-on, or the full game itself, and if you fancy helping a content creator out at the same time as making a purchase, I would be massively appreciative. So thanks again, everyone, and I shall see you in the next episode.